The role of this sharp knife, egesara, was to strike the peak of the genital thing, engende. And it could produce blood or not. But that strike itself, a small one, was a certificate of qualification that now you transit and transform from this generation to this generation. You are no longer a girl, you are now a woman. Wait. And then they bring unga ya wimbi. Flour. Mix it with the herbs. And then they apply. And within 24 hours, if you have not healed, whoever did it.
Bakamanya kungimokia, bakangira nyagitari nyamira. Akanira nyamira agaiga bono, nona aruse ti yani bagakonora, bakarusi kiregento.
Ogosarwa has been brought by women because abaisi bagakoraki. Because boys are big, circumcised.
Do you think the clitoris remains in the original state?
Yes.
It does not. No. Once you, it's like,
well,
this
I can't understand that because I've never watched it, I've never seen it. Even if you have done medicine in what way, even if you have done nursing in what way, even if you have PhD in nursing, you are not an original kissy who understands the genitalia the way the kissy understood it. And the genitalia was not understood in the functions of leisure and whatever you are talking about, and recreation. It was understood as a passage of marriage and the continuity and the procreation of a community. So if you disturb it, you disturb so many Megiro.
After a year of implementation, it's time to reflect, assess, and visualize impacts. Have attitudes and perceptions shifted? Today we are here to discuss an issue that has often been treated with so much secrecy: female genital mutilation. As we unravel the complexities that surround it, we hope to understand its traditional context, its current state, the timing, the methods involved, the impact on our girls, and the direction we are headed as an organization. Welcome to our segment titled FGM Then, Now and in the Future. My name is Purity Omariba, the Public Engagement Officer for SECOM. Today I'm joined by experts from various fields who have rallied to say no to FGM. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Yeah, Purity, who have rallied to say no to FGM. We must also get the background understanding of what is FGM and how the word FGM came so that we discuss it. My name is Obino Nyambane. I'm an elder in the community and I talk about virtues, relations, and the core values of the community.
Hi everyone, I'm Azema Pokemwa. I'm a project officer at Center for Community Mobilization and Empowerment. I'm excited about today's discussion.
My name is Lynette Mokaya Nas.
Say no to FGM. I'm Mother Busburi Wanyonja.
Thank you very much. Before we dive into the discussion, I would like Azenath to give us a brief overview of what FGM is and what SECOM has done with regards to FGM and its eradication.
Hello everyone. As I said, I work for Center for Community Mobilization and Empowerment, and for the last 8 years we've been implementing programs around eradication of female genital mutilation in Kisii County. So far the activities that we've done have been targeting girls in primary schools, boys in primary schools, women groups. We've been targeting men groups, and we've been targeting community members through community barazas, creating awareness about the effects of female genital mutilation in that area. And the definition of female genital mutilation, for those of us who don't know it yet, is the total or partial removal of the female genitalia for non-medical reasons. This is the interference of the female genitalia in any particular way without any medical purpose. So when we started the implementation of our programs, we had a prevalence of 84% in Kisii County. And according to the Kenya Demographic and Health Survey report that came out last year, we are at 77%. And according to the research that was done, there is a lot of medicalized female genital mutilation within Kisii County. So I think our discussions today will focus on why this is happening and why we should stop female genital mutilation. Some of the activities that we've been doing have been focused directly in eliminating female genital mutilation in Kisii County. One prominent activity that we've been doing is the alternative rite of passage workshops during the holidays for our girls, where for the last 4 years we've been targeting over 380 girls between 7 to 11 years old whom we feel are at risk of undergoing female genital mutilation. And we are very passionate about this particular workshop because it encompasses everything to do with the Kisii culture. And we are very specific in recognizing that our culture is good. The Abagusi culture is good because it identifies as people. And what we teach these girls is about Abagusi culture, the kinds of food we ate, the kinds of things we used to do in the past as the Kisii community. And then we talk about human development. We look at the kind of changes that they'll be able to face or experience as they grow. We look at female genital mutilation now in specific. What is the definition? What are the types that are there? What are the effects? Where are they supposed to report to? What kind of activities can they do so that they can be able to help their sisters or their fellow peers who are at risk of undergoing FGM? And then we talk about life skills, whereby we look at building their skills or their knowledge around assertiveness, around confidence, decision-making, communication, and all those things. We also look at health and hygiene, whereby we teach them on how to clean themselves, the kind of foods to eat when they experience menstruation, what kind of, how are they supposed to take care of their bodies. And then we also talk about education and learning, where we look at you don't just get education through school, you get education also in informal ways. So we encourage our girls to learn from their grandmothers, we encourage our girls to learn from the community, we encourage them to learn both at the school level and at the community level.
Thank you, Azena. So I'll pick it up from where you say the parts of our culture that are good. Bwana Director, are these the same things that people were taught in the past during the traditional initiation ceremony that is now called FGM? Is this the same thing that people were taught, or is it different? I would like you to provide a historical context of how it was done in the past.
First, I want to appreciate this initiative, and I've always attended your workshops, and I have seen what is happening, and I am with her, I am with you. You know what I'm talking about. Viewers, this is a very interesting topic in our cultural perspectives, because when we talk of tradition, culture, and the styles of life, it brings a lot of difference of how we think, how we do, and how we implement. So may I start from Purity's question of, is this how it was in tradition? How was it in tradition? How was? And I want to say this. In the practicality of every implementation in the cultural setup of traditions of Abagusi, life was structured in such a way that when you are doing something, everybody knows what you are doing. Every community member knows which state you are in life. So every member knows and cannot even come to question you, what are you doing? No, because it is already known as you grow. Because in our structures of tradition and culture, Omogusi, when a child is born, the mother knows what to do. Nobody interferes with her. She knew her rituals. After she has finished her rituals, the next step was for the members of the family. After that, members of the community. It was well structured. When we talk about the word FGM, I don't already want to agree with the nurse on the label FGM, female mutilation of genitals. That is what I understand about what she has explained. Because Abagusi people were very specific even in their thinking and their passage. Understand this. Genitals were very important in Enyuomo, in marriage. And the marriage was sacrosanct. in the Abagusi community. So anything attached to it had a lot of taboos and a lot of foundations that must be guarded so that it doesn't spoil. Because if you spoil anything that is related to genitality and whatever that goes with it, then you are going to spoil a marriage. And if you spoil a marriage, it means there is no future of a community, because families are the basic unities of a community. Okay, let's go back to FGM, the word itself. I don't know who gave it the title, but that title cannot belong to our community. I'm sorry, Purity and the nurse and the rest of the panel. We didn't have mutilation because, go back to the original word, that part of certification that you are now certified to be a woman was not mutilation. It was not female genitality. It was Ogosara. Ogosara, I want to now to define Ogosara, then you'll understand what FGM, your FGM means. Ogosara, Ogosara is from Egesara. Egesara is a small knife made from bamboo stick. Egesara. Very sharp. The role of this sharp knife, Egesara, was to strike the peak of the genital thing, engende, here. It was to strike. You can take it the way you want, because I will not understand her language or her language, but I understand my culture language. That sharp knife was to take a second or two. The expert was there to strike that edge, strike, yani brick, ta, and it could produce blood or not. But that strike itself, a small one, was a certificate of qualification that now you transit and transform from this generation to this generation. You are no longer a girl, you are now a woman, and you have undergone some informal education which invited you to understand that this will be done to you at a particular moment for a particular purpose, so that you become a person. Purity, I can see you are there, but let me finish. Let me finish. Allow me finish.
Okay.
Allow me finish about that. So that striking became a certificate of information, and the village now knew. Your family knew. The village knew. This is no longer a girl. This is now a woman. And a woman now, we can start negotiating. Because after that, it will take you about 3 years and you're married. When you have matured like that and you have been given that certificate of elongation as an adult, now people will start looking at your homestead and they start saying there is a girl in that home, not a girl. There is a young woman in that home who needs to be married. And then that certificate gives you recognition in the village. Wherever you walk, the respect for a woman is given to you. Anything about women, you are there. And nobody jokes, no boy will joke with you. No man will joke with you. Until you're married, and then you are taken to another level. So, that was part of what now, without consultation with the community elders, without consultation with people who understood what they were doing, a law was passed in the 1972 Convention of UNESCO against FGM. They were not involved in making that law. I wish whoever was doing the research and whoever was doing the implementation could come lowest to the community members, so that they understand the culture and the tradition and why they are doing it. Because from that perspective, then you can launch FGM or whatever you are calling it.
So can I?
Why does it have to be there though?
My question is, so you have said, without consulting the people who knew what they were doing.
The community.
Did they really know what they were doing? Because I'm here with Martha, and I would like her to share her story, how her own experience was. And maybe you can understand.
Remember, and I don't know. I don't know,
scratching.
Purity, if you had a balance of power, because you are 4 women against me.
No.
But I'm powerful because in our culture, a man was supposed to have 5 wives. Still, I lack one. So there is a Mobuchaibu, Nyamesanchu, Isieri Logoro, Isieri Mate, na Nyageita. I still need Nyageita who should sit there so that this community is full. So that we talk about this, because that is, now we're talking about tradition and culture. Yes, go ahead, Baba.
Thank you, Director. So, Martha, just a brief summary of your experience.
Gona kumiri. Obina go tebanga inga igo yarenge
Etaro.
ogo saragwa. Yare go saragwa ekiagere miaka yane ne isaine go tebanga ki yare go saragwa. No na etere tabu. Ekige ntonyange te pakabono iga. Na ende ngukura mono mundo ta etere ki na etere tenzi. Nje karana ire tubware na amanyete ngiki arenge. Mama antirete mambisa kuna moto go teimo kagenda na bana bandase bakogenda. Nkogenda. Nkonyora abangina bagitete tokubekwa serige naiga ngasaru nkanyenyo ekerna nyenyo tukatera tukaleta nyumba chinga kechingotera twalinga kone katuika nyumba yantiane oromo nena ase mama agacha akachikorana na kinasale tu agateba yaya taliga igaba mbaruseti
Correct.
bakamanya kongimokia bakangira nyagitari nyamira ekana iri nyamira agaiga bono nona aruseti pi yani bagakonora bakarusikire gento bone kare barusikire gento ebone yumbwate michando mono ekiagera inche tindi wenje nyoma yani bunande timbwati ene tingo kwana na nyoma
Na ndobwenete gusu.
ego bono no bumaene bino gotebanga no gusara gukwarengi
Tegerera. According to me, Baba, Purity, just give me a moment to talk. That was very wrong. And I've never because they have given a bad name to Ugosara in our culture. 2, those were not proper people trained to do that culturally or medically. All right, medically I don't know, because now medicalization has spoiled this event. But culturally, those mamas, and I wish we had one around, those mamas who are doing it at a specific way of doing it, it will not hurt you. And I can explain it because they have explained me several times. Engende nakiri, engende irega. There is no way omogusi ari gukune engende engima. Omogusi igare kurigege sara osa, even the title. So people who did that to you messed you, and I think that is why we have this conversation.
yarenge gesara gosi yarenge gesumari getiri
Yeah, gesumari getiri. No. You see? No, get it right. Oraiwana yarenge gesara. I am with you.
Purity, you protect us.
Yes.
You know, he's the job of the house and he's dominating
I'm not
the conversation.
I want to agree. Yes. Does he agree that those people did not know what they were doing? That is the thing. Two, according to the radicalization bit, kwa sababu the people did what they did kwa community, but the people wenye waliharibu kabisa.
Purity, I want to give you a reason. I want you to give you a reason. She was circumcised during the transition. When UNESCO said no, and the community does not even know that it has been banned. Are you getting? I want you to understand me. And those who were supposed to do it have ran to the Baba, no, wait.
But-
They have run away.
But Obi,
So the people who are now doing it, I
But
want to
Obino,
tell you, I want
mother is not a
let
kid.
me finish. How old is she? If she was circumcised in the 70s, that this thing was passed
In
in
1970s.
1970s.
Which year was it?
whereby it has
1972.
not been.
1985 is the transition between.
Let me also let me
will
contribute
you-
to this under culture before I go to medicalization.
Okay.
Obino is saying that Abagusi were using that small stick,
Not a stick.
Egesara,
Bamboo tree.
bamboo tree stick. I don't know. I didn't see
Specially
it.
prepared.
I didn't see it.
Ritually.
But when I grew up,
Ritually prepared.
I could see girls in my community
Yeah, yeah,
who
yeah,
went
yeah.
through FGM. They could use
Not who went through
it's a
FGM.
nail. It's
Yes.
bali basale tu.
Hero. Use
Tigambo
that.
anegera obina igubia.
Yes.
Bali basale tu. They could use a nail which has been is it crushed? And then it makes a
Purity.
small
Purity. All of you, please,
Let us give
give me a
Lynette
moment.
stop. Let us give Lynette.
Give me a moment. Don't
No,
give-
Obino, let
Let
me
us
just
give Lynette. No,
There is something I want to express
Let
here.
Lynette finish. And
If you
then
are talking about kissy culture,
It is
and
the
you are
kissy
talking
culture.
about
the knife.
the knife,
Yes.
a knife was not applied to a woman in Ogosara. There was no knife. This knife has come in the new development. People who don't understand. In our culture and tradition, there was no knife. It was a bamboo stick. And get it right, specially prepared by Babas. Women, old women, they knew how to prepare to break the top there.
Let us
So
assume.
wait. This one you call iron, a nail, hiyo imekuja na people who now want to practice what they don't understand. Please get me right.
Let us
And this
assume.
is coming
Obino,
with
direct-
modern nurses.
Director, no.
Wait a
Director,
minute.
with
Let
due
us give-
respect, let us just say, let us assume it was the bamboo stick, which was sharpened in a way to cut the clitoris. Now,
Not to
I
cut.
remember my
To
grandfather, my
break.
grandmother. She
To break.
It was not a break. My own grandmother. We stayed with her in my own house.
What?
She became sick. I could take her to the bathroom, everything.
What?
I saw her genitalia, how it looked like.
Yes.
She didn't even have the lapias. Tabwate bikoba. The clitoris was out. The lapias were out.
You are
She
expert.
was
I have never
like an
watched that
open
thing,
place.
so I don't even know the difference. But I want to tell you something.
Yes.
The fact is, in our culture and tradition, and in the original perspective of our tradition, and in the songs that we sing, in those songs, when the way they term the song and the words in it, I wish you can make a reference. It is specified that don't touch anything neighboring.
I want to
Anything
on what
neighboring.
Athena
And
I
that is in
just a
our
minute.
history. That is in our history. Baba,
Just a
you need a minute. I want to give it after I've explained this. So it was very clear that the woman who is going to sharpen or who is going to transit you from this generation to this other one does not cut this and a brick ukombele. And remember, traditionally there was no Ogosarwa. Ogosarwa has been brought by women because because boys are big, circumcised, and they eat, and they feel that a cow has been slaughtered. So women came together and said, if they are circumcising and doing, what do we do to ourselves so that we are in the league? Then the concoction of traditional women sat and said, we can also break our thing so that it is a certificate that we are mature. It was not original there in our community.
Now, let me ask, with what you have just said, do you think the clitoris remains in its original steps?
Yes.
It does not. Once you, it's like,
Well,
no,
I
this
can't
year,
understand that because I've never watched it. I've never
you
seen it.
should be watching before you do anything.
No.
Inspection.
In my culture, I'm not allowed to watch.
what I'm saying is the way Zeza said about what is FGM, genital
Female genital
mutilation. Mutilation, you are changing the form of the original thing.
Yes.
Now, whether you prick it, whether you pinch it,
You cut, you scratch it.
its original state has been tampered
Changed,
with. It has been changed. And that is now the word mutilation. That's what comes in.
It is applied wrongly.
I want to appreciate how you have said, Director Bino, that in our Gusii culture, it was meant that women were not to go FGM. Let me use what you
It
are
wasn't
comfortable.
there, yes.
They were not to be sarwad.
Yes. Don't use
They were
FGM
not.
because it is not African mentality.
They
It
were
is
not supposed to be.
us.
Can I use circumcision?
No,
Though it does
circumcision is for boys. Let me explain
So
you how.
what-
Wait.
Let me just the way I allowed you to finish.
Circumcision is
Remove
circumference.
circumference from the word circumference.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
It must be
remove
round.
it. It
And
must
the
be
only
round.
thing that is round
Even the clitoris
is
is
the
round.
no. The
And you know they
clitoris.
also cut around and they remove everything.
No,
so
no,
it's like
no,
they're
no,
doing
no.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Like
for
yours.
mother they removed everything.
So
They
from,
went
I actually
around.
wanted to talk about
Yes.
Martha's experience, the way she explained it. For those maybe who did not get it, alitolewa the labia. It's the labia.
In our language, we call it yengende.
Clitoris, no,
They removed
alitolewa
the
clitoris.
The
then
bean.
they removed the lips.
The lips.
The lips to yengende. Does
Yes.
yengende have lips?
And everything. It was
It was painful.
it was left.
And I
It's
pleaded.
like now she was left
Yes.
open. Like you
Those who
know,
are
the
quacks.
vagina is like a mouth.
Yes.
You know, it has two lips. There is the in and the outer.
Yes.
A lip. And then there is a clitoris which is up here.
Yes.
So you'll find
Where
that
sweetness is supposed to be.
where now I love that. And then now she was removed that clitoris, which is now the start of
That
the
was
vehicle,
wrong.
the
That was
engine.
wrong. That
And
is
then
wrong.
the labias, which were in case there is no clitoris where you could still
Ladies,
get
there I
sensation
agree.
and
I
protection.
agree with you
So
that
she
that
was
is wrong.
removed everything. You see?
Yes.
There
Is
I
that not
agree.
mutilation?
That is-
Yes,
and it
that
was
is
done
mutilation.
in Kisii.
No.
It was in
By
So it
medical
was done
life.
in Kisii.
Okay.
One, culturally she was done. When they were not satisfied with the culture,
I want
they
to-
took it to
decided-
medicalization
Excuse
now,
me,
part of it.
Gaki. May I plead with you so that you understand my status?
Let
I
us
want us to accept on systems and structures step by step. Let's not just conclude.
We haven't.
I was giving you, according to purity, the background about this step in mind, a step in the mind in our culture on a woman becoming,
On a girl
An
becoming
adult.
a woman.
on a girl becoming an
woman.
adult. I was giving you a step in the mind. So I was explaining to you how it was done. And when I compare, and if you are listening to me carefully, when you compare your notes of what was done to her in 1985, in 1985, the Ninis were already, the squabbles of FGM and was already in law by the UNESCO Convention of 1972. And the people, those who were experts were running away and the quacks were coming on board. So this one was handled by quacks. You like it or you don't. So I know I want us to be very clear about this.
Before you continue, I want to ask, do you agree that even you ya kitambo, that one that you say scratching,
My friend,
that it was mutilation?
purity, you will not convince me because there was no mutilation. There was a touch. And you know it is women who requested that they should be touched so that these girls can know they have transformed. Because boys, it was done traditionally by men. But women, wakiona watu wanakula, wanaume wamepitishwa hii, and there is this training. You know, women were trained and then they were given. But now, in our culture, now they were being trained and then they are touched so that it transformed the mind. It was not supposed to affect the genitalia. It was not. And excuse me, and get me clear in whichever forum. that it was not supposed to interfere in any way with the genitalia. That is why, one, it was natural, a stick, not a blade, not a nail.
Either way.
No!
Either
No,
way.
get it, get it.
Either way.
And this one was attached, not a
Mr.
cat.
Bino, Mr. Bino,
Why
second
attached?
to
A cat,
why
a
specific
cat,
place?
Baba.
Why there?
A cat,
Why
a cat, according to my
Why the
understanding.
genitalia?
Why there?
A cat. Oh,
Why there?
I will explain that. I will explain that. A cat, cats. But in our culture, kindly, you guys accept what I'm saying.
No.
It was that sharp thing touched here, and after it touched here, it has not cut anything. This
it
thing
has
is still
interfered.
intact.
It has interfered.
Listen, this thing is still there. What it does is after this cut, your mind is said that now you are no longer a girl. Wait, and then they bring unga ya wimbi, flour, mix it with the herbs, and then they apply, and within 24 hours, if you have not healed, whoever did it will be called for a committee. Ulifanyia msichana wa nani nini? Because she's not healing. That tells you that that one was not supposed to affect your system. It was just supposed to transform you like a certificate ya O level. Matema yako utakotoka on 16th. And it was supposed to change your attitude about yourself, that you are no longer, you are now a woman. That was the whole role of that touching by a bamboo stick. So these issues of cutting,
Why
medicalization,
there are many
have
things.
come as a result of not understanding, and then the law being passed without involving the
Obino.
community.
Director
Why
Obino,
there? Why
I want
there?
to ask, I want to appreciate the culture. I love the kissy culture, but
They were very organized.
I want to appreciate they were organized in terms of tampering with the clitoris.
No,
I
no,
don't
no, they never
understand
tampered.
why they did not touch the ear
ear,
to
yeah.
show me that I've transited
Oh, good.
from this to this.
Good, Baba, I
when
want to answer that.
Oh, just a minute. When you started, you said the kissy culture protected the genitalia of a woman.
Yes.
Protected. They didn't want
I
to
want to
tamper
give
with
you
it.
an
held it
answer.
in high
Yeah.
regard.
In
It was
high
very
regard,
important.
it was a
Do
very
you know
important. Even in marriage.
I want to give you that
Now,
answer.
let me ask. If they really regarded the genitalia that important, why choose the clitoris, not any other part of the body?
No.
Number one. Number two, when you're saying they just was slitting, just
They're not slitting.
pricking, I don't know, scratching, those are other forms of
Mutilation.
You are
Okay.
still tampering.
Yes, type
We have that is type 4. We have the type 1 whereby we remove the clitoris,
Clitoris.
where majority of the kissing women have been done, clitoridectomy.
Can they bring me
see?
another soda? I am just
like-
alone.
No, you're not alone. I'm saying I'm a midwife, I'm a nurse, I'm a midwife. I've worked in maternity kissy when it used to be kissy disc hospital, where we used to have very many deliveries. Mothers
Under which
were
generation?
delivering.
Under
No,
which
I'm
generation?
saying
Up
those,
until now,
even
right?
until now, when I observe those women,
Generations.
their genitalia, they didn't have a clitoris, all of them, and it made their deliveries very, very difficult.
I have
Then that
that's
is
when
why
I understand why.
yes, then there were so many cases of Syrian section coming in
Yeah.
because of that place has been tampered. It cannot stretch to bring forth the baby. That is number one. Number two, I worked in Homa Bay, in our neighboring county. I worked in Kisumu. The kind how the baby comes, their clitoris intact, things well, even their sexual life they enjoy it with their men. Number three, when you look at our old grandmothers, I gave you an example of my own grandmother. Let her rest in peace. I saw her. Those were years. You can imagine my grandmother, and I'm not the first grandchild in that home. She didn't have the clitoris. Yes, she did not have a clitoris. She did not have the lapias.
Wow.
Both of them, the minor and the major. And those were years back.
You're
Do you
blaming
tell
quacks.
me the UNESCO law had come in? No. even here in Kenya, we started this FGM in 2011.
No.
Just the other day.
No.
The others,
No.
they were just
Get
things.
your,
There
get,
were no
no,
laws.
get your nini correct.
It is. That's when
About
it was
FGM
the act.
and the
It's when
act,
the act.
and the law. Get it right. The convention is international.
Yes. But we are not adapted it.
Parliaments are different. But when the convention takes over, the country signs. If the country Kenya has signed to that convention, it means it must implement.
But it took a long time until
It
2011.
doesn't matter. It started that implementation from that convention. Let's get that right.
Yeah.
And it was passed to the chiefs and to parliament. You know, parliament passes that and it goes to the local administration through government structures, and it went down. And when people heard that, they started reacting in different ways. We shall come to that when I'm explaining.
Yes,
You finish.
I appreciate that. If that the international conventions they accept it, but as Kenya, you know, they can pass, but do you have a law to take someone to court with it?
Yes.
Domestication.
Yes.
We didn't
Yes,
domesticate
yes,
that.
yes.
We didn't domesticate that.
My friend, right
and
now-
that is why we didn't have, I read even the UKs, they were doing that. The countries, the Egyptians, they were doing FGM. And then, like the UK, a parent came, did FGM on their child. It was taken to court under the human rights, that the child's rights were violated because there was no consent and the child didn't understand what was done.
In our
And
culture,
then
we
what
didn't give
happened?
consent
No,
from
what I'm
young
saying,
people.
what I'm saying, it started from them, but it was very difficult to convict somebody that they have done that because the laws had not been accepted in their own country. They have not been accepted.
Nas.
So it becomes a very big challenge.
Nas.
What I'm
It will
saying
still be a
is,
challenge to
when
you.
somebody, even when we go biblical anyway,
It will still be a challenge
where
to you.
is a woman
supposed to
supposed to
undergo
undergo
female genital mutilation.
My
that is
friend,
also a culture,
in our
the biblical culture.
yes, whichever, biblical or local or conventional, a woman was not, in our culture, was not supposed to undergo mutilation.
But it
What
happened.
went wrong?
Wait,
But it
was
happened.
not supposed to
It was-
undergo mutilation.
But it
We
happened.
agree on that.
We agree.
Do you
up to
agree on that?
Yes.
Yes, we agree.
If you have agreed on that, that makes you go back to that our tradition and the structures were still intact and they were good. Right?
Then what
No,
happened?
no,
Right?
no, no.
Right?
Which part?
Some.
Aye. What?
There were some
Because-
which were not good. Let me ask you, where, like now, do you still agree that we can do wife inheritance?
I want to answer you in various forms. When you talk about
Like that one. Is it a good culture?
Allow
In
me
the
to talk
present?
about why we were here before we come to that one, because that's by the way.
Okay. But I want
Look at
the bad cultures.
Look at the bad culture of mutilation, which we didn't have. What has brought mutilation, and I want to be very clear on this, is when those who knew how to take care of that mutilation, it was not mutilation, was stopped by chiefs. You know, chiefs could come and say, don't continue doing this because the government has said, stop. Without involving the community in public participation to understand the good and the bad of doing what you are supposed to do. So if that happened and they did not participate, how are you going to convince them not to stop? In the process, madam, you were trained as nurses. I am a local mother at home. I want my kid to be done this. The original person who knew how to do it cannot do it. I know you know some biology about doing it. So I bring her to you and I beg you and I pay you because I trust in my culture. The culture of our people is in their hearts. So in my heart, I want this girl to be Osaru. So Osaru, that one who could do it cannot do it, then a nurse can do. In me, I believe that a nurse understands the human body, anatomy, and the genitalia. So she'll do what my grandmother, who was a professional, could do. which is not the case.
Now,
wait, let me finish that expression. So, when it comes to that, whoever is going to start doing it from 1975 to present is a quack. Even if you have done medicine in what way, even if you have done nursing in what way, even if you have PhD in nursing, you are not an original Kisi who understands the genitalia the way the Kisi understood it, and the genitalia was not understood in the functions of leisure and whatever you are talking about, and recreation. It was understood as a passage of marriage and the continuity and the procreation of a community. So if you disturb it, you disturb so many Megiro. You disturb so many things. You don't joke with that thing. You don't joke. So the moment you start joking with it, you bring maafa, you bring chaos. And as we are talking, those are the chaos we are discussing now. Quaxim came in, and what has made 77% not go down is because of purity. Quackism, because people who are doing it do not understand what they are supposed to be doing. And then the alternative passages, because by 1972, the passage was that. But when it was declared by law that it is not supposed to be done, excuse me, ladies, it put people in another defense. So what do I do to my daughter so that she understands this? When you reach there, you understand me as you understand everything, that there is a confusion.
You're saying quackism?
Yeah. Most people who are doing it, and the cause of what we are doing is because there is somebody, I don't mean you, who believes that my culture is in my heart. My daughter, this must be done, be done. But because it cannot be done originally, anapata quack. A quack in form of what? In form of a nurse. So it has been medicalized.
Yeah,
it has been medicalized.
Now that
and when it has
my
been medicalized, now it is very difficult. It will still be done because atakuja na pesa na anakuambia msichana lazima umufanyie. And that is where we are, and that is why the percentage is high. I wish the community was involved.
I want to appreciate the fact that Director Bino is accepting that there are changes taking place on the clitoris, which is equivalent for that term that we use, mutilation.
Yes.
And I want to appreciate that Obina said categorically that the Kisi culture protected the genitalia of a woman. That whatever was going to happen to make it different was having effect in the life of that woman and the community as a whole.
Yes.
And I want to appreciate the fact that you have said later women demanded. It's like long time ago there, but we see it was not there, if I got you right.
It was not there.
But women demanded for it to be done so that they can only celebrate with other women and eat well and dance. And then it was to help these girls realize that now I have moved from being a small girl to a bigger girl.
Yes.
Not a bigger girl,
to a woman.
Yes.
Who was in, maybe even after healing she could get married, a few years she could get married.
Not years,
few months. I'm not very sure of what age they were being. Maybe that one Obino can
the age
shed
was between
light.
16 and 19.
16 and 19, those were big people.
Yes.
At 16 and 19.
Yes.
So they were. It was a right. Now you are free. You can get married. You can have your family. Now, now I want to understand something here. If that was Kitambo, what was their sign that now moved from childhood to adulthood as a lady before they demanded for that? Was it not still a passage through our culture, teaching just a minute, teaching our girls on our culture, how they conduct themselves, what's the role of a woman, what's the role of a man, and when they go to their homes as women, as wives, how was it? And it was done so well. That is what I understand.
Yes.
So until the women demanded, it was not there. Our Kisi culture didn't have FGM before women demanded.
Something I also appreciate,
which came in, is
him saying that they would scratch that part and apply
Some flour,
millet,
some herbal.
And give it
And
hours. Give it hours.
and if you don't get healed,
They
Yes.
will go to the perpetrator.
meaning Quackism started way
Yeah.
before. Quackism haijaanza
Haijaanza
juzi.
sahi.
Because
Quackism
even that one
started.
was like a quack didn't have enough
Yes.
skills.
Yes.
That is why the healing process was taking long.
And the ladies.
Now,
wait,
here I come.
And
Before,
I want to,
before I gave you time.
No, before you
Now-
go on. But I've been quiet. Before you go on, I want to be very specific here. That in the original setup of our structures, quaxing was not allowed. Because if you want to handle my girl, the wazes and mamas made sure that whoever is going to handle that girl is an expert. That one I want you to understand. Whoever is going to circumcise that boy, omokebi. And you know, it belonged to families. It didn't belong to everybody. It was a talent of a particular family. So if something goes wrong with you, that family will have answers for what went wrong with you. So it was not a joke. It was not something you joke with. Get it from that level. Get it from that level.
Yes. Now, and then you have just said that after that, now there is that pushing healthcare workers. You know, when we talk about medicalization, is any healthcare providers who can provide that service.
Yes,
It's not
yes,
just a certain
yes,
cadre like
yes,
for
and-
nurses, doctors, but
yes.
whoever is in the medical field who can be able
They
to
thought so.
provide. They
Now
thought
the
so.
community
And then
feels.
now they started pushing because of the laws which came, which were prohibiting people from carrying out the FGM. Now, the medicalization now has come in because people like Obino are still supporting FGM.
Not people like Obino. I want this to be very clear to you.
Now it's a discussion.
Yeah, I want this to be
it's
very
like
clear to you.
if there are people are
No,
saying,
I want
you
to-
know, my culture is in my heart. Whether it's a bad culture, it's a good culture, it's my heart. In whatever means, I must execute my culture. And then that is how medicalization, I done what coming. Somebody comes to the
true.
healthcare provider and pushes,
Yes.
you know, my culture is in my heart, and finds another healthcare worker who is also passionate about that harmful culture. And then the FGM still continues. And you have said they don't have the skill. There is no skill that we learn in a medical school, whatever the cadre of removing a clitoris, unless it has a disease.
And you see,
Something needs to,
You
it's
see,
medically,
and that is-
it's illegal,
and that is why-
it's consented,
and that is why
and
Obi-
it's, every care worker is covered by
and that
carrying
is
out
why
that
Obino
minimum.
Nyambane here tells you that even all the nurses, when it comes to whatever you are saying, Ugo Saruko Mwane Nyaruka, are quacks. They don't understand it.
We are
They
not
don't
supposed to
know
do
it.
it.
You are supposed to understand it and know it. If it was done properly by public participation, by conventions, by these conventions of UNESCO and other world health bodies, they should have brought in the community elders so that the elders understand and transmit the information about the wrongs you are doing to this part of the body or anatomy to a girl, so that that community will understand that this level, this is what is supposed to be. And then you give us alternative passageways, modalities, and models of structures that now, instead of thinking that this is what you should do, we should do this and this, so that this girl still maintains that morality aspect of homogusi. Are you getting it? Because homogusi believed in morality and believed in marriage and believed in enyuomo. So if you remove those enyuomo, morality and what have you, and you just bring something, it will never work. And I can assure you that is why your bodies have not moved better steps. If the community, elders, women, especially women, because they were the decision makers, don't think men were decision makers in our community. There is no men group or sitting that took a decision without calling an old woman, most likely the eldest, to give a consent in what they have decided. It never happened. And that tells you another thing. Ikitu mnasema ate women power, what. Women have ever been powerful even in the Bible, even in anywhere. They have ever taken decisions that affect communities. So even this FGM thing, if it is going on, ask women.
Let me ask, if, let's just assume there was no consultation, there was no public participation. Now we are here today. Do we need still to go because there was no consultation? We continue still mutilating our girls to die out of bleeding.
We cannot.
It is against the human rights because you are doing harm. Even the ethics.
You are summarizing without giving it.
No, ethics. Ethics also even has, we say do no harm.
That is not a thing.
Now we are doing harm to our girls, to our women.
Purity
because
and
I remember one time there is a mama who demanded during delivery that please, in the village, me I grew in town, now I've been married, I'm in the rural home, and the people have realized I didn't go through FGM, and now they are calling me Egesagane. You see, just by the virtue that there was no cut, Egesagane, but she has all the morals and she carries her duties well as a woman. So she demanded during delivery, please, can you also, as I give birth, also cut that thing for me to be accepted in the community.
In the spirit of some
and then it comes now medicalization, because this is a demand from who? From the client. Please, I need to
break. You know.
So what I'm saying, medicalization has come because of the push from the community. Number one.
Good.
Some people.
I want to agree with you in that one in 100%. And I want to tell you on that note, and I want Purity to hear and the program that we cannot remove it from the community unless we make them understand and give them alternative passage for this girl to remain morally upright and to remain accustomed to what we expect of a woman in as a community.
So Bwana Director, we have, as SICOM, we have the alternative rites of passage, something that I would want Azena to share briefly on how we do it. And she's actually one of the beneficiaries of the ARP. Yes.
So thank you so much to Mr. Obino for pointing out that there was a convention that was talking about issues to do with FGM in 1972. And you said a lot of quacks came out and they continued cutting girls. So there have been programs, as much as the community was not involved in during the process, maybe through public participation. There have been sessions or initiatives that have been creating awareness about the effects of female genital mutilation, and part of that is the Alternative Rite of Passage program. I first heard about it through ADRA Kenya, and
ADRA is an SDA organization.
Yeah, it is affiliated to the Adventist Church. Yeah. So I'm part of their beneficiaries, actually. When I was 7 years old, I didn't even know what FGM was. I will just hear my mom and my grandmother talking about us going to my grandmother's place during the holiday to be cut. So it was not something exciting because we didn't know what it was actually, because we believed in
ingetuonyesha kwamba
tume shift into being women.
Yeah, you were not supposed to know.
So around that time, ndio ADRA ilikuja. That's when ADRA started a certain initiative, the Alternative Rite of Passage initiative, and through the church that I was going to, we were taken to, it was Cardinal Lotunga Boys during that time, and we boarded there for a whole week, and we were being taught about the effects of FGM.
And how to be a woman.
Yes, and how to be a responsible young woman.
Yes.
So our parents were also taken through the same sessions.
Good.
They were taught about the effects of female genital mutilation, and we graduated. Tulipewa certificate and t-shirts, and it was a ceremony.
That was good.
And it was a ceremony, and it was amazing because after that, myself, I was there with my two sisters. One is younger than me and one is older. All of us were not cut because of that initiative.
Good.
Yes. And so it means even me, when I have my own daughter, high chances are I won't cut her. Yes. Because I've known the effects, and I also we went through that program, and I've known that it's important not to cut my girl. So through SICOM, we are doing a similar initiative where during the holidays, during April, August, and December, we are having the girls during the week, and we are talking to them about the effects. We are talking to them about their bodies, how to be responsible young women, how to be good decision makers, assertive, and such things. So I'm happy that me benefiting from the ARP program, I'm able to also translate this to my work at SECOM, and I'm able to assist more girls and their parents to get this information so that they're able to make decisions against female genital mutilation. And I'm glad you pointed out the need to educate the community, because at the end of the day, decision maker ni nani? It's the parent, not even this girl who's going through ARP. So that's why it's important as we do the ARP, we are able to bring in the parents of the girls. We are teaching them also, so that as they make decisions, yeye na mtoto wamepata information, they're making joint decisions. Yeah, so is that something you support? Support?
That is important.
You know, and to echo what Azena has said, I really want to thank the European Union, of course, and ISEF for their help to ensure that we sustain the momentum of ensuring that FGM is eradicated, because you know that is the ultimate goal. So as we wind up, I know you I know you wanted to say something before I interrupted, so kindly.
Yeah, I also want to appreciate that our culture is good. The good culture is there when it comes to alternative passage, and but removing the cut from our girls. Number two, I want to say that we have seen that most of it has been medicalized because of the push from the community. Our way forward is to see that our healthcare providers are also sensitized to be reminded on the effects of FGM and the impact it has. Like now we have been commemorating the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And one reason of gender-based violence, especially the intimate partner violence, is due to FGM. So if we can really pull our powers together, healthcare workers knowing, yes, I have my values, but this value, how does it affect other people? By me as a healthcare provider who has been trained, certified, and I know the medical legal issues surrounding the FGM, then I should be able to stop it, to support the women and the families by really educating them to understand why we should stop FGM, because of so many other health issues which affect our girls and the young women. So for me, I need to sensitize my healthcare providers and all of us. Since as we sensitize the community, we also sensitize the healthcare providers.
Thank you. And Bona Director, I know FGM is, you know, deeply rooted in our culture, and that is the biggest problem, because, you know, even at a mti,
it is not even a problem.
Like you have to uproot. So
the problem is not the community, is not the culture. It is the people who are approaching it. How you approach it.
I've not even asked the question, Bona Director. I wanted to say, what do you have to tell SECOM, other CSOs who are rallying to say no to FGM? What would you tell them to motivate them? Because we have established that whatever is happening is mutilation.
Good. Purity and my colleagues here, I want you to accept that you cannot eradicate without involving the community. And one of the aspects that now UNESCO is taking seriously is that anything they do, the community elders must be involved. That is a step forward. But also for your group and community-based forums, we also need to understand that if we don't bring the community foundations, those who are the founders who are still living, and I mean here by elders and women of age within the community who understand where we are coming from and where we're going. Because they're the people who give direction. You like it or you don't. Even in the leadership, you see, when we have a failed leadership, it is because we have a failed system of elder organization and structures. So in this particular case, thank you for the sausages and the soda. In this particular case, we are trying to say that involve the community at their base level, at their foundations. As When you are talking about that as a nurse, you know, they look at you as a nurse, yes, they will approach you to do that, yes, as a nurse, because they think you understand their
Culture.
no,
Their need.
they want you to cut that thing because you know body language. But in them, it is the culture that is pushing them. So what we need is to sit with them, elaborate, elucidate, say it, talk about the law, participate in it, so that we bring them on board to understand. But they live in their culture, and still in their culture, morality is based on that thing. Human procreation is based on that thing, and our people take marriage as a very important aspect in one's life. If the step of marriage is not taken, then you are nobody in our community. If you are a man and you have no children and a wife, nobody looks at you. If you are a woman and you are not married and you are not giving us children, nobody looks at you. So that aspect still entails, and it all goes back to circumcision and all those issues. So this also make the public community participate in our thoughts of how to eradicate this. Otherwise, we cannot eradicate it without the community base. I don't know if I'm understood, Purity.
I understood. That is what I think I want to concur with you in terms of creating awareness in our community on the why we should change.
So you need more funds.
They give us even how we can do it
Yeah,
better.
you need more funds to
from
talk to the elders and
Yes,
to talk to them, and then convince them that if you have done that, will marriage continue?
Yes.
Will we, you know, they're already fearing
Will they
because,
give birth?
yeah, they're already fearing because they're saying, our people are tudanganya, our children are not getting circumcised, boys are not even marrying, they're becoming irresponsible. Do we have a future? So in the community, as I'm talking to you now, there is a scare that there is no future.
Yeah. But they need, that one will come after creating awareness, having dialogues with them, and also having some cases coming out, champions that yes, me, I'm married, I have children, I've gone to school, I have many even children, more than the number I wanted, despite the fact that I
And
didn't go
culturally,
through
we
them.
don't say how many children you have,
Yeah,
especially men.
through the cut. Like for example, me, I have my two girls. One is in Form 3, another one is in grade 8, but they have not gone through the cut. They don't even know what FGM is all about. I have my nieces who have gone to university, they are married, they have children, but they have not gone through the cut. So we can still say no to the cut. And still
How
our
many are
children,
like
our
you?
girls can. They will have.
How many are like
It's
you?
a multiplication kind of. Me and my girls will do the same.
Public
and the others,
participation.
Yeah, and dialogue.
So thank you very much, Martha. Vile unarudi kwa community. I don't know what.
Mother is a very young girl.
Yes, Martha is a very young girl.
Who is bitter
So
with the FGM?
I know ukona, you have members under your group.
Yes.
You have people you are educating as a CHP and as a champion, anti-FGM champion. So what do you have to say, maybe for SECOM in our efforts to address this, to combat this, and as a person who wants to put a message out there?
Because I'm a survivor of FGM, I know the consequences which a person goes through after getting the cut. I go back to the village and teach those big mamas and the young ladies, mostly ladies on the right, those big mamas to know without the cut, a lady will make a good woman, and will not, and that lady, when going to give birth, will not get more complications. So I'm saying FGM is not supported with the Bible. It is not supported with our law of Kenya. So everybody must stand against FGM.
So thank you very much. I have one conclusion that I have come to today. A woman is complete without the cat. We have Azenath here who has shared her story. She's complete, she's perfect.
Yes,
you can
I'm
all see
perfect.
Simeona.
Yeah.
Very perfect. And then
And this one is not
and then we
perfect.
have Martha, in her own words, Martha has shared the challenges that she still experiences to date because of FGM.
Yeah.
So for lack of a better word, allow me to say that that cat ruined her.
The quacks.
Emotionally, psychologically,
Emotionally,
and
psychologically.
There is no way.
Yes.
sexually.
There is no way quacks cannot ruin you, especially when you don't understand the transformation and whatever you're going through. Were you taught how to go through it?
Director, this is my I'm closing.
Thank you.
So now, another conclusion I have drawn from this is that the solution to ignorance is awareness.
Yeah.
It is the ignorance that is it's
Causing
the reason we are
issues.
here. Ignorance. Something else is that I'm glad, I'm happy, and thank you very much for helping us visualize, the whole female genital mutilation situation, because we've had real life experiences of the wins and the losses. We've also had experiences from the medical field and the traditional context. Thank you, because now this sheds light to the meaningful collaborations that we need to ensure the eradication of FGM. And it is even timely because today, as we close the 16 days of activism, the focus is on ending GBV through allyship. So we are all allies. The goal is one, the strategies ndio kidogo zinaweza kuwa tofauti. So my plea today is to motivate every person out there. I know people are really struggling, people are rallying to say no to FGM, but they might encounter someone like Bwana Director here, who might sway them. Yeah, so thank you. This has been thank you very much. This has been very impactful, very insightful. I have learned a lot personally. I just want to thank the entire SECOM team. This did not happen overnight. The change we anticipate won't happen overnight. So I want to thank the SECOM team for coming together and coming up with this very deep, very meaningful discussion. I want to thank our able director for all her efforts to ensure that we have a community free from violence. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you next time. Kindly leave a comment or any form of feedback after this video, and kindly share the link as widely as possible. Follow us on all our social media pages. We go as SECOM, CECOME, across all social media platforms. Thank you.